So I'm going to hit record now. Testing 1, 2, match up voice. So my battery went earlier and I'd been recording a video for like an hour and a half. Covered a lot basically about this road and the scams and ploys the council are using. Also some government stuff, some stuff about Barry Shearman, some stuff about what's been happening to me, including some incidents on this road and some things that have changed and some incidents in Home Firth and things like that. But basically, I just want to get onto this. I need to talk about the evidence for this Dalton surgery because on Google Maps there's something strange happening. Here's when the little police station was there in July 2008. Now, if you look, it goes to 2020. It's between 2008 and 2020. That little police station's still there. Now, remember this Alessio's Pizza place changing on the right hand side, just where Tesco's is. If we go to here, you can see there's no picture on the side of this chemist. There's like a white square, right? A white square. But if you go to next to the square, there's a clear window as well. Right, you can see that female character on the side now. Now this female character, I've been looking at it when I drive past, right? I've been looking at this female character when I drive past, right? And it's definitely, on my life, I swear, I've been looking at this female character within the last couple of weeks. And it's been, there was someone graffitied on it, but only a very minimal. It might have had something like devil horns on it or something, but the rest of it was pretty clear. Now what's happened is it's got not just devil horns, it's got actually, and I need to get a photograph of it because it's not on Google Maps. It had all devil makeup on it, basically like intense makeup, all red, and it absolutely hasn't been like that this week because I've been on the bus, I've been past it. So something's happened. Then also there was the couple have been put in memorial here by this bus stop every year for the birthday because the daughter or someone got killed. But it's really weird because the initials of the plaque on the metal fence of the building are for my girlfriend, KD, my ex-girlfriend. And when I just started seeing her when I was going on this road, we're talking many years ago now, I got done by the speed camera further on, right opposite the Warriors' tomb. And I don't think I was speeding. I think that someone hacked my speedometer because I was going slow. I was just going at a very calm speed. And I lost my driving license for 2 years, and it basically ruined his relationship, really. And it's her initials that are on here. Now, this family that's lost someone, Barry Shearman's been getting involved in Parliament. Now, I'm not saying that this event is, we can't deny this event because they've lost, their relative. But I think it was set up and staged, and someone messed with the vehicle, crashed it into the wall, taking control of the vehicle remotely through because there's evidence that can be done now, and I think that they crashed it and caused this incident. That who? Well, I think the authorities. Now, there's a lot going on with this road. With all the evidence from the other petition about the attack on heritage, it's quite serious. And there's something from the authorities, from the Royals, that don't like Waterloo. They called it Waterloo, and when you start getting into the evidence of it, there's a lot of evidence there. What else has happened on this road? Well, there's some incidents been happening on here. The council have been suddenly wanting a lot of attention on here to try and get Greenway in. They got rid of that little police station. Look, it's gone now. If we go back to 2008, there's a little mini police station, right? So the little mini police station is now, as you can see, gone. Now, the weird thing is, right, we want to find out evidence about this Dalton surgery, right? But if you look on there, it's between 2008 and 2020. It only goes to 2020. But as soon as you go to here, it goes to 2021. it adds another year on, which is odd. It goes between 2020 and 2021. Now, the weird thing about back at Alessio's here, just gone back to 2020 now, right? With Alessio's, it's got 2019, 2018, 2016. So it goes 16, 18, 19, 20. I'm pretty sure when I checked on my mobile phone, it had 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20. I'm sure my mobile phone, 14, 16, 18, 19, 20. That's odd. It seems to be going every year. Now, when you get to this bit here, it only goes to 21. Sorry, it goes to 2021, right? When we're here. Let's just get... Oh, and it only goes to 20... It only goes to 2020 here. Right, and there's Yorkshire Tigers still. And then suddenly, when we get to this, it should only go up to 2020 on this road. But now we've got 2021. I don't think the Google car would drive on this road and not it just be the same video footage when it drives past, the same camera. Why would it put an extra year in? It's like there's an extra year being added in here. Now, when I remember it explicitly, right? This corner here had some roadworks on it. And I'm pretty sure this pavement here, I remember this pavement being like flags. Because I remember this wall here, this old-fashioned wall, and the flags were like not even. They were like a very, not old, but I'm sure they were like old-fashioned flags around here. And when I saw them doing it up, oh, they've dug that corner up. I like that corner there. Why they dug the pavement up? What they're doing? Why? And I'm like, oh, they're taking those flags up that I liked. Why? I hope they put them back down. And then it's just come like pavement. But when you go back to 2008, there's no sign of any flags there. So there's no evidence. You can't get evidence that there were flags. It's like it's been erased. I think it has been changed, right? Unless we can get some photos. Now, there's some strange... I'm pretty sure about that. I'm not saying that I'm 100% right, but I think... Now, here there's some weird cones. The latest one's 2021. But further back there, it only goes to 2020, right? Why is it? Where's this extra year come from, 2021, that's not back there, near a town? Now, here's the surgery, right? There's with the little brown sign on and the old building. When we click on 2021, there's the building bit on there. But remember, it's got an extra year on it to further back then. Where's that come from? I think somebody slipped an extra year in and put it so it looks like it's built up. Now, I love that little surgery as it is in 2008. And if I'd have seen a planning notice fastened on the side of it or anywhere here when I've been driving on, I would have seen a planning notice and I would have put an objection in. But there was none. And I never even saw any scaffolding. If there was some scaffolding up to build an extension on there, surely they couldn't do it overnight. It would take at least a few days. And the amount of speed that the roadworks work down on Leeds Road, they're taking forever, you know. It takes them forever. So if they can knock a whole building up, then why can't they knock Leeds Road roadworks on? Why is it taking them months and months and months of work so they can get paid loads and loads of money, working really, really, really slowly? This is the thing. Now, why is this extra year coming in? That's really, really strange. Now we've got 2008. In fact, 2008. 2008. 2012. And the thing is, the Waterloo, just along the road at Waterloo, they've got a massive medical centre, a huge medical centre for everyone in Dalton. And you wouldn't need to expand this surgery and make it any bigger. It's ridiculous. Why would you need to make it bigger and put an extension on it if they've just built a medical centre? Right? Anyway, 2008. Then it goes to 2012. 2016, 2018, 2019, and then it goes to 2020. Now, 2020 is still there, right? Now, it's saying on the council's website that the planning permission went through 2 years ago, right? But I absolutely swear I've seen it intact, like it's meant to be, within 2 years. In fact, within 1 year. In fact, within 6 months. In fact, weeks, right? And I only noticed it the other day when it had drastically changed, right? With all new different writing in front on it. Now, I think that they wanted the council. This is what I think. I think the council knew that people would object to that. If they saw a planning notice on, many people would object to it. And I think that they wanted to cheat the planning. And I think that they just wanted to swindle us out of it and cheat, like they've been doing with the Warrior Mount Tomb, and like they've been doing with Castle Hill, just like the Tandys. The council were in on it with the Tandys. The council claimed that, you know, it wasn't to do with them, it's all Tandy's fault, but it's the people who are pulling the strings behind these things, and the same with the Kirkheaton School in Kirkheaton, the old schoolhouse, and the same with the Overthorpe Road, Savile Estate, old cottage house. It's someone stealing these buildings from us, and then same with the Freemasons' Arms up at Upper Upton, and then that other barn up at Upper Upton opposite Hare and Hounds as well. It's just, they're pulling the wool over his eyes. And then even in the village in Lepton, the Sun Inn pub has put a gate up, right, a metal gate, and I know the story for that, but I measured it and it's above regulation height, and I've double checked the regulations, and I'm not wrong about the regulations. These people aren't getting permission, and many of them aren't putting notices up, or they're not being able anywhere where you can see them. Like where they're building houses at Tinker Lane, you couldn't see the notice. None of the riding school people could see the notice either. A few people in the village knew about it from the newspapers, but there were no notice when you're walking around the road. And also, another thing is that there's a restaurant in Armonbury where Asians wanted to do something to the old building. It's not Wormwood Hall, but it's nearly as old as Wormwood Hall, another old building. And there was no planning. I was getting the bus there on a daily basis to walk around Armonbury because I like the old buildings, and there was no planning notice on there. And then a planning notice appeared, and I saw it from the bus when I'd been going there on a regular basis, and I went over to look at it, and it said it has expired. The planning notice had expired. Now, with the evidence from Home Firth for Compost Cafe, they're saying they didn't even need to put planning out because it was medical access. And then another one, I think someone either was doing it to me because of all the campaign work that I've been doing, and because I have been getting serious evidence against the authorities. I think either someone high up in the authorities has been getting revenge on me and harassing me and upsetting me and wanting to pull the wool over my eyes because of all the planning corruption that I'd seen with my eyes and got evidence that I got for planning corruption with my own eyes. I think they wanted to compete with me, and I think they wanted to get one over on me, and I think they wanted to mess things up, change buildings, and there was no way that I could stop them, because to stop them I would have to see the planning, and when they didn't put the planning up there, I didn't see it, and then they go and do it, so it's too late and there's nothing I can do about it, and I didn't see it. So then their position is, oh, you didn't see that, did you? You didn't see that, did you? You didn't see that, and they're wanting to outdo me. And make me look blind, like I can't see anything, and beat me. And that's what they're doing in Ireland. In Ireland, these BlackRock Vanguard companies like Cairn Homes and all these developers have pulled one over on the Irish, and they've done it so when they build 400 housing builds, 400 home builds, they automatically get permission. And you've got a hard job to get the council to do anything about it, intervene. and the like Arndale Centre's going off, boom, boom, boom. Instead of blowing up and falling down, they're blowing up and exploding 400 ohms, and it's all like a bomb going off. You can't stop it. Once it reaches the critical mass of 400, there's nothing you can do to stop these apartment buildings going off, exploding all around Ireland, and they're destroying a lot of ancient sites. And to get round the Irish being opposed to them, they're building replicas of all the ancient sites that they're actually destroying in the shopping centre to make it look like, oh, it's okay to have ancient ancestors' sites in shopping centres, walking around with the dead inside shopping centres. Mortuaries and graveyards are meant to be, where you go pay respects. Quiet places, not at the roadside or in shopping centres. Like I was saying, does the Queen want to be buried in Harrods? This is the thing. Now, so yeah, I mean, a major thing with these Irish builds is that they're actually not letting you make an observation. They're charging you money, 20 euros, which is essentially a fine. You're being fined, because when they take money off you, it's like you're being fined. You're being fined, charged 20 euros for you to look at what they're doing, for you to see what they're doing, for you to make comment on what they're doing. They will fine you, charge you. It's like going past a speed camera and it flash going off. Take a photo. If you want to see what they're doing, if you want to have a say in what they're doing, how dare you? If you want to comment on what they're doing, you can see what's going on, can you? Can see what's going on, can you? Know what's going on? Like the look of this, don't like the look of that, do you? Speed camera goes off. 20 euros for that. If you want to see what I'm doing, 20 euros. Right? This is what they're doing. This is what the Royals were trying to plan, and what Boris Johnson were trying to plan when they're trying to take away his right to object. And this is the trick they've been doing. I didn't see that, did you? Didn't see that, did you? If you didn't see it, then you can't stop them. If you didn't see it, you can't stop them. Now, if you don't know they're putting permission in, you wouldn't know to get evidence on site to prove that there's nothing there. But yet, there was a dry stone wall knocked down. I got photographs of it on my computer. The dry stone wall got knocked down coming out of the woods, and I couldn't find the photographs on my computer. All the photographs that I was looking for my computer had vanished. Now, while the stone was still lying around, I could have rebuilt that and used the photographs as a guide to build it and put the stones back in place so you could see where they went. But I couldn't find the photos. Now the photos have suddenly appeared back on my computer again, and I can see them. I can see how the dry stone wall went, but it's too late, because all the stone that got scattered around has gradually got further and further away, and people have been throwing it around and messing around with it, and all the original dry stone wall bits have gone now. So someone prevented me from doing it because I couldn't see how it went back together, because I didn't have the photos, and I couldn't remember, because it was a bit of a funny, intricate, very, very unique one. So they just want to defeat you. It's a battle. I could say it was Strategic Council Department, but they are 100% in on everything. They've got tactics, they've got little strategies to do with roadworks that they know how to use. They know how to use a few little distraction things, like with the bus companies. They know that they've got the football team, they've got the bus companies, they're growing an awesome team. They're in on it a little bit as to the strategies of deployment. But what the public don't know is it's Barry Shearman, and this is what I did an hour-and-a-half video on earlier, but back when Barry Shearman has got his vision, and it's all to do with the legality of you're not supposed to influence the electors. Now, the electors, when you're getting their view on something, they have a say in whether you do it or whether you don't do it. Now, whether you have a say in whether the council do it or not, you're voting on it, essentially. You're voting through commentary and through opinion. What do the public want? Do the public comments want this, or do the public comments want that? So you can't be influenced. Yet, what the council are effectively publishing, before they even ask the public, is we've got a blueprint that we're going to do when we're doing for the town centre. Effectively, whether you like it or not. And they're selling it, so they are influencing the public. Now, that's what's illegal and what you can't do for reasons. But they're completely evading and ignoring the laws. And they've got a culture now with all these cool architects and all these cool councillors sitting in front of the camera being photographed. But what they've done is they've slipped past the fine line of the law into red danger territory, red zone, illegal zone, highly criminal zone. And they can't do it. But it's been accepted that you can. Kind of like when Boris has stopped people from, oh, we don't have to debate your petitions. Of course you have to debate the petitions. You have the right to get something petitioned. You have the right to petition and get a judgment on it. You have the right to have a case heard. It's right of way. Right of way. If you want anything in the local area done, you have a right of way to request it, right? Now, if you don't have a right of way, if it's blocked, you don't have the right. Now, Boris is saying that you don't have to debate it. Well, he might claim that, well, we could act on it without debate or this or that. But usually the whole point of getting a petition is so your elected ministers debate it out in Parliament, because it's kind of like a judgment. It's a case being put there. So it has to be debated, really, because the MPs, that's how they come to decisions, through debate in Parliament. Or else it's not a fair, open decision, is it really? So Boris is withholding right of way, of the public's right of way to get it debated. And really the right to, with these builds now that we're looking at and developments, and we've got a right to have a say in if protected buildings, listed buildings get changed or not. We've got a right to comment on it, you know. And even if it's disability access, really, even if they automatically get permission, I think like the public have a right to know about it and make comment on it, surely. But there's no disability access needed for this building, because they can actually gain access to it. And you can't say that they need this surgery bigger, because they've just built a medical centre down the road, a massive one. Now, there's something, I think there's something going on, because I've seen this, and it's not 2 years. It hasn't been in this state like this for 2 years. No way. You can see the different shades on there. But they're saying 2021. Now, the council website claims that the planning permission went through 2 years, but I think it's been hacked and it's a fake planning thing. So I went onto YouTube and I looked at people's YouTube videos driving past, and I've seen a few within the last 6 months, but it shows it on. There's a couple of bus routes going past with it on, and there's a couple of dash cam people with it on. So you could fake a channel and throw it up. You could even edit someone's video and change it. It's not impossible if you're going to make a professional job of it. But what I think is very unusual is this. Why is this extra year being added on here that suddenly shows it and makes it appear, yet the rest of the street earlier on doesn't have that extra year that makes it appear? Because this is 2021. And, so it's showing 2020 now, 2020, 2021, 2022. It's 2022 now. This is September 2020. We're on August. September 2020, September, August, September. So it's just about 2 years, really. But why is this extra year added on with it there? That's something unusual. Now, as for if you think, yeah, I didn't notice it within these 6 months, right? When we go back to when it was, when it was unmodified, and they've really made it looks horrible now. That new job of it is really, really upsetting, what they've done to it. Really, really upsetting. But what I'll do is go back to here, right? And we've got this yellow camera. Now, if the people who have planned to try and get away with doing Tandies, at Castle Hill, planned to get away with the Freemasons' arms, planned to get away with the Kirk Eaton, old school. Plan to get away with the old building at Savile Estate. Plan to get rid of, the change of flower pot in Mayfield. Plan to change all these old buildings. Now, how you can do it is the type of thing you need to start getting into the strategic planning, and that's what they've got a department specialising in the council. Now, some of the things you can do is if you want to stage an incident or stage an accident and not have witnesses near it, there are lots of things you can do if you're a government or if you're a military level or if you're Barry Sheeman or if you're very high up. Now, one of the things they've done is they put this camera here. They put this camera here and everyone's now big yellow posts that everyone notices and watch themselves, what lane they're going in and don't pay attention to the doctor's surgery. They've got that. Then, like I said, they had those roadworks on this corner here going on, digging the pavement up. That was a distraction for quite a while. They had that incident, what Barry Sheeman's report done on Dalton there. There was an incident actually here as well when someone was hit by a car, and I think that the vehicles were hacked then. Just like when I had the incident on here, when I just started seeing that girlfriend, and it was that Ray from the CPS used to go in the pub, and he would spy for the CPS in the pub. And I don't think I was speeding on here, because I've driven on here at 40 miles an hour, and it's really fast 40 on here past speed camera. You can really feel that 40 mile an hour because these lanes are quite narrow. When you go actually past where the carpet shop is, where the speed camera is, where the Warriors Mound is, I drove on there at 40, and I think that 40 is pushing the speedometer quite a bit. When you're doing 40 past there, you can really feel the speed. And when I was with my girlfriend, we weren't in a rush anywhere. We didn't have to get anywhere for a certain time. I'd relatively just met her. We were just going on this road, nice and steady. And I don't think I was doing 40 mile an hour or anywhere near 40. I don't even think that I was doing 36 or 37. And they can change the speed camera limit. I think my speedo was either needle was changed or they just did me with the camera and they'd set it down to 31, 32 mile an hour. But apparently they said, we can do you at 31 or 32. Some people have been done at 31 or 32, I think. But I think on the ticket it said 36. But there was no way that I was going... I don't think that I was going faster than 30. And their initials are the same as on this strange metal plate on here, where that person was killed. It's their exact initials that are like on there, which is very strange. And then actually, they've put a chain across it as well. I didn't want to have to go all the way back here because I just got talking about that. But if I can just come on here, I'll try to get there now to this. You see... I did a talk about this Alessio's place being changed. I noticed that Alessio's was changed definitely because they got like a logo up with a piece of pizza on that I liked, and then they changed it to this red one, and they've actually had another one in between, which I don't think they had that other one in between, but it's showing you he had it for 1 year. See, look, there's some sort of notice or planning. There's a planning notice there. You see planning notices when they're up. Look at that. Now, if there was that outside that little Dalton Surgery, I would have noticed it. But I don't think they wanted us to notice it. I think they wanted to pull one over on us. Now, this is where that incident was. It's got the KD initials on. Now, this gate used to be open all the time, right? This gate used to be open all the time. Now, the building next door is still active and people go in there and you can get into the yard and you can access from the other road around the other side. Now, you can get into this yard from the other side because the gate is not as high as this. It's really low down. It's very, very low, and you can just literally stride your legs over it. So they can't stop you coming into here and loitering around in here from the other side. It's impossible. Now, what I've found is currently is they've locked this gate here. They've locked this gate and they've put a chain on it. Now, it's a silver chain, chainy chain. On one of the petitions that I did, I indicated that Sleaford Mod song, and he kebab spider when he goes chainy chain, fuck off. And he goes on about, I've got a Brit Award, I've got a shit award, but I made quite a lot of a fuss about that song, chainy chain. Then I noticed they'd chain this up. But the thing is, putting a chain on that gate there only stops people from walking through. right? But a lot of people used to walk through because it's a shortcut from going all the way around. But like I said, it can't really stop people if they don't want people to be in there. You can't really stop it because they can get through from the other side, and if young kids want to go in there, so it's kind of pointless. And all through the day anyway, the other side it's unlocked and you can get into here all day. It seems ridiculous. I don't know why that's been locked, but that's something else. If we're coming back onto here, right? So the buses is another thing. Strategically, right? Everyone knew about that police station getting pulled down because they put things up to do the works for it for quite a while before. Now, Yorkshire Tiger got bought out and changed over to Transdev, which I can't stand. I hate it. I hate the buses, and the thing is, this is another thing. You might think, well, if they were going to do the building work on that little surgery or seat planning notices or look out for them, what about all the people on the buses? Well, they've switched to Transdev, and they've got these stupid jeering faces that look at you with really dodgy expressions, which are not only intimidating and upsetting and threatening. The talking bus really annoys you, and it's a repetitive same thing all the time. And you can't really concentrate on things out of the window and relax like you normally do. So a lot of people put their earphones on and switch off and listen to the music, right? There's that. So the strategic development, and then it's all Huddersfield Town team players building the most awesome team. I think they're building the most awesome distraction team. But if you figure into it the military operations level of the government, and to be honest, there's something going on here as well, because that woman, you can see this woman here, right, who is, she's, that has not had graffiti on it in the last 2 weeks, except maybe some very, very minimal devil horns, because I've been looking at it and I know for certain there's no graffiti on that in the last couple of weeks, because I've been looking at her face. Now suddenly, very heavy red graffiti makeup all over her face appeared. Not just devil horns, the whole full makeup of devil face appeared on it. And it's appeared when I've suddenly noticed this Dalton Surgery, I'm sure, right? And somebody's done that. But there were some really weird things happening, because when I was at Holmfirth bus station, this girl walked past who I used to know, who was meant to be in Madagascar. She's meant to have been working in like a turtle. She does like what do you call marine biology. She's got a degree in marine biology. She walked past me in Holmfirth. It was the last person I expected to walk past in Holmfirth. She's got bright orange hair, right? And then when I got home, I spoke to her on Facebook, and I asked her, I said, "Oh, are you back?" And she said, "Yeah." She said, "I'm still working at that place, but I'm going to be going to university in America to study anthropology and archaeology." Well, archaeology is part of anthropology. I think that she's left Madagascar because it's been getting really, really hot. Like, we've had a heat wave here. I think it's been getting hot there. But so I saw her, and then I went up to this guy's house in Holmfirth, who I was supposed to be picking up something from this guy's house, and in his garage he's got like wood turning, and there was this really bright orange face drawn on his whiteboard, but red hair, long red hair, as if it was like the character that I'd seen in Holmfirth. Now, it was really odd. Now, I don't know if somebody's doing a prank on us, or if it's a radio joke, or if someone's getting someone to do it, or somebody. It's like somebody's setting it up and winding us up, and these are the type of stunts that Ant and Deck do, and Jeremy Beadle type things. It's just so weird. And that had the heavy red makeup on it at the same time I saw that girl and that guy's house. And then when I got off the bus in town, it was really weird, because there was like a bloke across the road near where that gold post box is, and he was definitely a bloke, but dressed up as a woman, as a female, in purple, and it was really odd. And it's weird because we've had that Mayor of West Yorkshire, Mayor's Big Bus Chat thing on the bus currently. You've been able to give comments about all the bus services and that. So something weird's been going on with the Mayor, and she's Labour, like Barry Sheeman. And there was a woman on the bus as well, actually coming on this route, that I saw that was somewhat kind of suspicious, thinking towards something of the Mayor. But I can't. And the other day, when I came on here, there was like a big military vehicle parked at the bottom of the road, which is where that the chamber used to be, opposite Asplen Arena. There's a big military vehicle parked facing this way, and I've just done some on one of my videos about the army, military operations and that. So, you know, you might think all these things are non-related, but there's been quite a few things on here. That bus thing change has distracted everyone. Then they've been going on about the green cycle lanes being put in and surveying for that. There's been multiple things going on. They definitely did some work on that corner. And then, oh yeah, they've put that Springhead funeral home place on here has popped up. Changed from Mark Riley hairdressers. Someone's bought that out. Bar and Child's gone bust, which maintains a traditional feel down the Aspley. With Bar and Child closing down, you're really going to lose the traditional feel on this road, because Bar and Child keeps it. So with Bar and Child getting lost and this little Dalton Surgery getting lost, it's really, this road really is taking a knock from old houses. That place is getting done up there. It used to be a kitchen place. We just gone. There's this stag place here. But what another funny thing is, this guy's house. You see, this guy here keeps a very traditional house, and I think he's got all. This guy is keeping a traditional house, and he's actually maintained. He's got kind of shale down. And he's kept this really old little tiny garage outhouse. Now, this is a bigger house, but he's keeping the traditional style. You see, these old cottages have got the original archways, and these actually are very, very beautiful, actually, without the stupid wheelie bins there. It's got a nice wooden gate. You know, you don't need to do much else to these, and you can really notice how vintage and old these are, actually, on this road, these houses. They haven't all got those gateways. But the funny thing about this big house here, right, with that little garage, is that it was weird because where we are now, directly across the road, there used to be a beautiful house, not too big, and it had a little outside garage bit, and it overlooks the fields behind, looking over towards the scout camp and towards the Hare and Hounds pub that way, towards Hopton. And when we moved into this house and I'm one of the parents, I was looking at it thinking, I might buy that. I wonder if my parents might, you know, look at maybe helping me out to buy it. This is ages ago when we first moved up here. Actually, around the time when I got done by that speed camera, when I lost my driving licence, funnily enough, because that's when we just moved into the house, when I'd started seeing my girlfriend, right? So I wasn't driving at that time. It's when I went to college, right? And, but someone bought it, and they demolished it not long after I started being interested in it. And what upset me is they demolished that little outhouse. And it was a beautiful little house. And they made a massive, flashy, big one now. A real show-off, massive house. But the other house that was there, it was beautiful. It wasn't huge. It was probably about the size of this one here, actually. But it was... And it had a little old-fashioned garage like this outside it, but it was actually about in that position there. And the other side of it was looking out. It was like some sort of place in America you get out in the woods or something, you know, these log cabins looking out over somewhere, but over the prairies. It was beautiful. And somebody took that away from us. It was amazing how it was. And never mind, you know, reuse existing building, they completely demolished it. It was exactly at the time I got done by the speed camera and got banned for 2 years and I had to go to college. And actually, that's when I did, I thought of this children's book that I did. And I designed this character jumping over a stile. And it's funny because now later on is when that Lepton Wood stile got knocked down and trashed mysteriously. But the thing is, something weird happened at college when I was supposed to get everything done by the, you know, the person who comes round and looks at your schoolwork, the person from the education centre who comes and grades all your work and all that. And something, I didn't take my main book that I made. I took everything else in and set everything up, but I forgot to take my book in. I think that was actually the year before, which is actually when this happened, because I went to the first year, then I went to a different college the year after, at Highfields. Highfields ended up getting shut down as well. I forgot my book and it didn't end up getting looked at. And I thought it was worth a distinction. I thought it was really good, but it never got looked at. I think I could have got distracted by anything for that, you know. And then there's this place here. Something really weird went on here. See, they've done this up here. This is something that I reported, because that's an old hat shop, right? And this old little step here, I kind of liked the fact that this old hat shop had this original little step. And then when they bought it and did it, this really weird bit of brickwork appeared. Oh, this is when it got changed to that. I don't know why it went to that red thing. They knackered it then and no one's got it. That must have been the building people. But they put this really weird long red brick thing there. I've got a photograph of it. It's like a pile of bricks or something. And I reported it to the council. You see, they're doing stonework on there without planning permission, permanent building changes. They never got planning permission for that. Permanent building changes to the step when it's the original step. And I liked that step. So why would you change a step on that? You don't need to. Someone's picking and choosing things, and I don't know whether it's me myself that's got targeted. Oh, there's a green bus there. What company is that? Huddersfield 81. I don't know what company that is. A green one, because you don't really see many green ones on there. That's odd. So I don't know whether it's because of me and because of all the campaign work I've been doing and the illegal road signage, and I've been doing something that the authorities didn't like, so they wanted to get revenge. But the thing is, I just think I think it's just plain. I think there's something to do with what I'm doing figuring into it, but it's likely not just me, other people, because it's been going on for a long time. Because it happened with this Warriors Tomb. It got built on when it's an ancient site. It happened with Varley when he started excavating Castle and the war broke out. These things are happening. And there's a lot of people in the area. There's a lot of people who are just not getting planning permission and asking for it. But I think someone is giving them a bad influence, and someone is sort of the style of the BBC television programmes and the Channel 4 ones and the ITV ones currently, when they do these doing up your house things or looking around people's houses, they play this kind of cheeky music, which is a little bit like the like dum-de-dum, dum-de-dum music, as if it's cheeky. Something's happening in the house in the other room, ooh, play the cheeky music. It's kind of like, ooh, it's a bit like Mr. Kipling, naughty but nice. Ooh, it's a bit naughty, but they're doing it. It's kind of trying to make things that are wrong or that you shouldn't do into kind of sweet and innocent type thing, you know. But then you've got Nicola Sturgeon, who's apparently, saying that, parents are responsible to look after the kids and they want to get the teachers to look after them instead and tell them what to do and find out all the secrets. They're trying to make out that, if people are doing things in their houses and homes that, are bad, they're trying to draw a black and white line, but then when they're doing these cheeky programs, it's okay to be a bit naughty. It's kind of saying that, and a lot of these programs are about doing up your yard, doing up your house, doing up your garden, but they play cheeky, naughty but nice music. And what I think it does, that music, is if you come to planning notices and trying to get, I might do my house up like that program. We're supposed to put planning notice on there. People can get right to object. It might block me from doing it. So the cheeky music plays in the mind and they go, well, put it on like that cheeky program, give my garden a cheeky makeover and give my pub fence a cheeky makeover, and then put the notice on after. I think there might be some of that going on, but I think it's to do with the council and the inspectors not checking it properly. And when it comes to this place on here, it's damn right diabolical, because I don't think that place was done 2 years ago. Yet on the council site, it says planning permission went 2 years ago. There's been no planning notice on there. And then it suddenly just appeared all built when we hadn't even seen it in the halfway stage. There's something weird going on. Now, you might think, well, what about all the witnesses who go to the surgery? The thing is, with the witnesses from the surgery, right, I haven't been going into my doctor's surgery because they're closed during the daytime, except for appointments only, serious appointments. What they're doing is, if they can, 90% of people now, they're seeing through the telephone. Since all COVID and all this COVID thing's been going on for 2 years now, they're only doing telephone only unless you really, really need to go in. So the most of the people aren't bothering to even go in there. And a lot of people have been moved from this place down to the new big Waterloo Centre, likely. So people won't have been seeing it or going in there, right? And also, they can, with doctors, you don't always have the same staff there all the time. At my doctors, they've got a rota of various guest doctors coming and going and things like that. One of my doctors was on a leave, 2-week leave as well. And, you know, they can arrange things to happen. And also, you know, just, you know, now, what's happened also, when I noticed that this is actually major changes, which is only the other day, I asked on the minibus, because we were talking on the minibus, and I said, oh, what's going on? And the lady on the minibus said, one of the passengers said, oh, I know there's been an incident or something happened there only within the last week, because I know a guy, and he said he saw the wall had been hit and crashed in. Now, if the wall's been hit and crashed in, right, then it'll needed to have been built back up again. The wall will have been needed to have been built back up again if it got crashed in. So some building work must have and was done on it, right? So we know something's been done because the wall got hit. I think a lot more than the walls got hit. I think that they've completely built the whole thing up and changed it all. But I can't prove it because it's saying planning permission going back to 2021. Now, unless they got planning permission back then but just didn't build it, and then they're wanting to do the modifications later on when they've got all these distractions going on, I don't know, but it's mysterious. You see, this, what we see now, this September 2020 is the only bit of Google Maps we've got past Alessio's further on. If it was the same up to date as Alessio's, we wouldn't even see this extension. So there's no evidence that it was changed 2 years ago unless you add in this 2021. And now the evidence suddenly appears, it's been slipped in. But then the other evidence you've got is those YouTube videos that I found. There's a couple of, there's like a dash cam video, and there is a video from, what's the other one? There's a dash cam video, and then there's another video. There's a video from bus spotting people. But again, with that, they've got these metal bar things. It's not a chain, but it's a metal bar. And I was thinking, it kind of reminds me of that chain thing again on there. Because they put them on there and block that other place off. But I can't prove that. That's kind of getting personal again. But there's something weird going on. There's something weird going on with Barry Sheeman, with the mayor, with the strategic planning, with the Earl Dartmouth getting these houses. We're effectively being hustled. We're being like hustled out of these buildings. And it's not just like this house here, like this bungalow, or this, or that. It's specific ones that you wouldn't want to change it, that you'd want to protect. You'd want to protect that. People love it. It's got this beautiful barn bit on it. So why has this one been changed? It's the place that you'd want to enforce the protection, and you'd want to see the planning notice, but we haven't. He slipped it past. And how it's been done and backdated, it's almost like Tyler Hawkins flies in, but it's almost like Tyler Hawkins is the new Doctor Who because he's got a TARDIS and can go back in time. I mean, we've even had, why would somebody want to do something and change somewhere to spite or upset or hurt someone? Well, why did they do that TARDIS? That TARDIS got spray painted in Almondbury because the person who did it wanted to spoil and ruin it. So a person's done something to spoil and ruin it, vandalise it, right? So if a person does that with the capacity of spray paint, I think there are people with a larger and greater capacity than just a tin of spray paint who can get buildings changed to spite or annoy other people, and whether it's me or someone else. And I think that's what we're going on with this Warrior's Tomb. And I don't think it's just limited to when Varley was excavating and the war kicked off. I think it goes back to that Chas Piobkirk book. Something to do with that Chas Piobkirk book and bringing attention to the area. Because then we suddenly get the Statue of Liberty, Liberty Island in America getting done. It's the exact same size as Warrior's Tomb, Liberty Island. Identical 0.2 mile diameter. Right, it is exactly. This is a liberal. This is a liberal symbol. This place. It's a liberal symbol. It symbolises liberty because it's liberty shape to it. And then they get the Statue of Liberty, which distracts. There's through all of this, right? Look, there's J.P. Wild's van there who was doing that co-op up. I pulled him on that. There was no planning notice up for that co-op in Armonbury. None. Because I was walking past. Scaffolding appeared up, no planning notice. Right? So I couldn't look at it to see what they were doing. If I could have looked at it to see what they were doing, there was no planning notice, but there was scaffolding. I went all the way over to Leeds, to JP Wild's head office, and I said to him, what are you doing? Are you doing that Rose and Crown pub up at Armonbury? And he said, potentially. If planning permission ain't been passed already and they ain't even committed to doing it, why is he saying potentially? Why would you fit scaffolding around it if you're just potentially doing it? At that point, apparently they got planning permission, but there's no notice on there. Well, they can't planning permission if they need to give you notice before. There were no notice on there before the scaffolding went up, I can tell you that. And it went up when I called it, and then suddenly it appeared after. Now, I said to JP Wild, I want you to keep the exterior of the building, and they have actually kept the exterior of the building. But there's something to do with that exterior. There's a story about that exterior as well, right? But it's co-op group. His co-op group they've got a funeral. The co-op group have got a funeral. The co-op now are not only supermarkets, but the funerals are taking over the whole funeral industry. They deal with dead bodies and people that are deceased, like that incident back there with that KD sign on it outside the Mould Green. The KD sign, right? That's what co-op group deal with. And now Mark Riley's gone under, but this independent funeral service has popped up. This Springhead Funeral Home, right opposite Warrior's Tomb. If it had been co-op group funeral and not Springhead, it would have been really suspicious with that co-op up at the top. Now I think that Earl Dartmouth, he wants to do HS2 and HS3 buildings. He's got his land. We don't know where he got it from because it was meant to be a Huddersfield Corporation, that land for the people, but Earl Dartmouth ended up with it himself. It's part of the whole plan for the area. I think that co-op they wanted to do the King James School up and make that bigger, which is right enough Armonbury Village. And all the streets in Armonbury Village are getting signs on and done. But not Honley. Why is it that Honley Village has got this beautiful wooden bench at the bus stop? You know. In fact, I could go on to it now to show you. It's frozen up now, and I don't know why it's done that. Armonbury Village, right? At Armonbury Village, they've got the bench, little green bench, and there's lots of old things. It's got this not responding thing now. I've had enough of it. I want to go to Armonbury Village and show you Armonbury Village. All the whole town. Honley. Why did I say Armonbury? Honley Village. At Honley Village, there's an old bench, wooden bench, right? At Honley Village, right? And in Honley Village, there's old cobbled roads and loads of old buildings. The councils there have maintained it, but someone's not intervened and rubbished it. So it makes it look like they're actually wanting to help and protect and preserve the old uniqueness, right? But that's not the case over at Dalton. It's quite the opposite. It's been actually rubbished and attacked, and all the buildings pulled down. And now they're starting to do that to Armonbury. they're not protecting, preserving it like they're doing with Honley Village at Armonbury. They're actually now going the other way. It was to an extent previously. And actually, I think I've been listening to that Waterloo song. The Eurovision Waterloo song, if you look at the lyrics, you've got to know all of my evidence in your mind from what I've been investigating. You've got to know all my evidence from the whole thing, from the other petitions. You've got to know all that evidence, right? You've got to know all that evidence, right? You've got to know all the evidence. You've got to know all of the evidence, right? All of it. If you know all of the evidence, there's something weird going on with the Waterloo and the song. And I've actually done a video on it. I've done a video specifically on it. On that. Because it's almost like the place where they're taking a dump. Where the place that they go to the toilet. And then you get into the whole Tate Modern and that loo they've put in there. But that's... I really want to go to Honley now, and I need to find it on this map. Here is where Armonbury is. There's Castle Hill. Berry Brow. Honley. Right. I don't know if I can get that little character now. So I've zoomed out. It normally shows here. Alright. Right. Okay. So, if it's still recording, I hope. Here, right, look. See that bench there? They've got this green, old preserved wooden bench here. Right? At Honley Village, not Armonbury, Honley Village, right? The old benches that they had around there, Lepton area, they've all been taken out. They didn't preserve them. But they've gone to a lot of trouble to preserve that one by the bus stop and all the village at the top. And this place here, I've done a video on the Braithwaite place. I did a video about the Braithwaite place being of a certain period and era. And that's kind of like what it is here. This place. It's the sort of place you see out in Lincolnshire. There aren't many places still like this. In Lincolnshire, where it's all farming, there are a lot of places. And this old shop here, but I've done a whole video on that and the Honley Cycle Shop. But there is something to do with the councillors in this area preserving this. But I think the councillors kind of want to preserve Armonbury, but there's some force at work. And I think that it's Earl Dartmouth influence, it's Barry Sheeran influence, it's people such as Mayor of West Yorkshire, and I think it's Blackrock Vanguard Group that have got the funeral parlours and the co-ops and they're pulling the strings. And I think they've been orchestrating this planning notice thing. I think I've been targeted. I think they found out all the places that I like to get revenge against me, so I don't see them and don't notice them doing stuff to them to get me back for noticing all the road signs because I had the capacity to do it. But yeah, I failed in protecting these buildings with my vision and eyesight. They pulled one over on me. You didn't see that, did you? You didn't see that, did you? And they've stolen all my buildings from me because I went around the whole of the country and said, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's illegal, that's illegal. It's all planned and orchestrated and you did it. And they were so furious that they went and took down everything that I liked around here. And I didn't see it. You didn't see that, did you? I didn't see that. You didn't see that, did you? But I don't think it's only limited to me. There's nothing special about me other than I'm just a person of many who likely they've been doing the same things and tactics with. Like Hobkirk and like what happened in the 1700s. Like they pulled the trick with the Victoria Tower. You know, this engineering group that wanted to build towers, but first to get it in, they did the Baton Tower at the Heights of Abraham, and then they did the, you know, and then, we'll give you the Great Yorkshire Show and we'll bring agriculture, but they didn't. It's basically a certain party and franchise affiliation who have got a lot of power and strings, and they're dastardly downright cheats. It's the people who keep us in poverty. It's the aristocracy, and they're evil. They stole my song. I've just done a video on it, and you'll see it because it'll be uploaded next to this. I did a tune, a really good tune, a very, very amazing tune, and they wanted to beat it. And they stole it, and they used it for the McDonald's tune. And this is like a made millions from, and it's a very addictive, but also it can be annoying. But it's got this certain reach through the house, and they can use it as a call sign. They use it as a whistle, and my parents, for some strange reason, got into their heads to take all the doors off in the house. So sometimes I have to listen to things like that coming from the TV, and there's no defence. I can't block it off because all the doors have been taken off the house. You know, they're priming a lot of people. And now each individual on the phones can be personally, individually tailored and primed using metadata and tailored targeting. So if they want to start using influencer material on individuals, they can do it. Probably likely can change text messages and even voices on phones. It's to that extent. And if you think this is all much to do about nothing, about a little Dalton Surgery, you need to know what's been going on with the other petitions, with the actual heritage area, with my other petitions with the illegal road signage and planning corruption of the whole country. And now we've got a war in Russia and it's all kicking off. Just because these tantrum people think that they have evolved themselves, they've snorted themselves involved into aliens, and they think they're supreme beings, superior to us. But if you put them naked in a zoo, they're no better than you, except they've got they're downright evil. They're evil. They're not a person who I wouldn't cheat anyone. I wouldn't steal from anyone. I wouldn't take anything from anyone. I'm a fair person. They're evil. They're jealous, lying, cheating, stealing, and what they do is they purport for charity. They virtue signal, because if they don't, then people won't do what they say, and they won't adore them and sing their songs of glory to them. So they've got to do a certain amount of charity work, but yet they're selling junk food to us and making us all ill, and then saying, "Oh, well, I'll help you out and build you an hospital." This is the thing: pure evil people, and they've got a certain position at the moment. They've got control of the technology. The accessories they've got, and their downright evil, pure evil will to use them is how they're dominating us. And just when I made that McDonald's video earlier, my computer got attacked. All the editing that I did on my computer, it got changed, and they froze my computer up just to make a point out of it. They could do it with a click of your fingers. And when I recorded that other talk earlier that was an hour and a half long, like put my battery level, it made my battery level go to nothing and switch my phone off. So I'd lost it all. I lost the whole hour and a bit conversation, and I was having to write dig at Barry Shearman, giving him the big truth about Barry Shearman as well in that. So it's we're dealing with the symbol for these people is like the lion. They'll tear me to pieces. They'll tear you to pieces, and they won't hold back at all. Except the only thing is they have to do it in the shadows. They can't be seen to be doing it, but they also like to make the point. You need to know who's in charge and what the consequences are of things. You need to know that, but you can't prove it. It's like the tape on toilet. It means something. It makes a point. To these people, meaning means millions. To these people, to make a point and for something to mean something, it's worth building an entire museum and charging people to go in, and it's saying this is good. It's worth £1 million. What it means is Waterloo. It's toilet. Take a pee, and then the Eurovision song pops up. So it's all about. It's going back to the Civil War, because we won. We beat the Royals in the Civil War. They were defeated, and Oliver Cromwell took over. And it was the Whigs, and that's what our area represents, and what the Liberty Hill represents. But now it's their toilet. It's where they take a dump at Waterloo. they take a dump there, and all the buildings are vanishing and slyly being snuck away from us. Yet Honley is, you know, you've got to have one place. Oh no, it's not. We're not ruining all the vintage stuff. Look at Honley. Well, yeah, because it's not Waterloo, is it? It's not got the ancient site there, and that's it really. So that's pretty much most of what I wanted to talk about earlier on. But like, I've lost some of it because the other video got lost. But